I'm Ray Davis, Family Life Minister for the Santa Clarita Church of Christ, better known as North Oaks Church of Christ in Santa Clarita, California. The past few sessions I've spent much time talking about the book I Beg to Differ, Navigating Difficult Conversations with Truth and Love. I've included my own thoughts as well and expanded the thoughts of the author Tim Muehlhoff. And his first major point was we need to recognize the effect of our words and phrases, and then I added about our nonverbals. So that's where we start in our conversation. Muehlhoff's second point is we need to learn what the other person thinks, believes, and feels. Now, he's not alone in advocating the importance of listening in order to understand. Stephen Covey, in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, states we must first seek to understand before being understood. And then James 1:19 says we need to be swift to listen, slow to speak, slow to indignation. Now, to understand what another person thinks, believes, and feels, we cannot assume we already know. A Texas preacher made an important statement. He said that familiar texts must be read twice, for it's far too easy to read a familiar text without understanding, assuming we already know what it means. So if we read it a second time, perhaps we'll catch the gist of that verse. The same could be said of relationships. You think you know what your family member means, and you answer based on your understanding without listening to what the person says. Proverbs 18:13 warns, if one gives an answer before hearing, it is folly and shameful. Now, in your own experience, how many losing arguments have started because of a lack of listening? We jump into what we assume the issue is and find out that we're way off. To help your understanding of what the other person thinks, ask for clarification. Now, the goal in these questions is not to find fallacy in the other person's ideas, but to make sure you comprehend what the other person is really trying to say. And a good way to make sure you've understood is you ask the person, now here is what I have heard, is that correct? And if the person says, yes, you have understood correctly, then you've come to an understanding. But it gives a person a chance to correct your misinterpretation. As a good carpenter will say, you measure twice, cut once. If only our politicians would seek to understand before spouting off. Dysfunctional relationships exhibit communication that only seeks to justify and condemn rather than to understand. God created families as a safe place where each member can experience love, protection, and understanding. Take the time to listen. There are few greater gifts than that.